MJ Hobby Corner here. Hello everyone, welcome to our channel here at MJ Hobby Corner. Welcome to new subscribers. That's first and foremost. Thanks for coming on board, and I hope you'll enjoy your stay. This little video update is going to be an informal chat just to update the channel a little bit, and also to welcome new subscribers. And for those of you that don't know, I want to just update a couple of things, what we do here in the channel, and just kind of talk about some of the things that are coming up. Okay, so first and foremost, this is our studio office. Okay, and it's just a room in our home that we have prepared and equipped to do all the stuff that I need to do for the channel. And we have all our game files here, and all the stuff that we need for the games, army lists and anything like that. That's all here filed up. And then we have the studio. The studio is a separate building in the property, and it's a nice space. It's an older building, but it has a real sort of rustic feel to it, which I love. So that's my studio, and that's where we hold a lot of our games. I have a couple of gaming tables there, and of course, all the miniature collection. A big part of the miniature collection, everything is in the studio, and all the terrain collection, all the stuff, my crafting benches, all that stuff, that's all in the studio. So for those of you that haven't seen the little studio tours that I've given, they're in a playlist. I'm gonna dig them up and then put the link in the description. So just for new subscribers, if you're interested, you can check out that little studio tour that I did a while back. Okay, so all right, so what's going to go on this week? Well, first and foremost, I am preparing for Horizon Wars Infinite Dark. That is the first thing that I'm going to do this week. Now, I've been preparing for this game for a while. I did an MJ Gaming Spotlight on it. That's the MJ Gaming Spotlight, for those of you that don't know, is just like a rules review that I do on my channel. It's a very simple review. It's not an in-depth review, but I do go over the rule books. And what I do is I randomly just pick a game, rule set from my library, and then do a spotlight on it. Okay, so that's the MJ Gaming Spotlight. Infinite Dark, I've been preparing for a while, and I've been doing a lot of scratch builds and things like that for thinking about that game. So finally this Wednesday, I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to play a solo game of Infinite Dark. So for those of you interested, check it out on Wednesday. I should have the battle report up by Thursday, okay? Because I do take my time now editing. So usually I start editing the same day of the battle report, the same day of the game, and then continue the following day, all right? And then I just keep working in the office until it's edited, all right? So it's a lot of hours of editing usually, depending how much footage we have. So, Infinite Dark this Wednesday. Friday, hopefully, and depending on how Julie's feeling and depending on how I'm feeling, Rain in Hell. Julie and I, we've thought about making up some new demon philosophies for our warbands. And this is a game, for those of you that don't know, Rain in Hell is a game that just came out by Uncle Adam and Vince Venturelli, and we love it here. It's a fun game. It really is a fun game. Okay, I do have a game spotlight on it for anyone that's interested. There is a playlist for all the spotlights, so you should be able to find the stuff if you're interested. I'll try and have a link in the description of all this stuff. So, Rain in Hell Friday, if Julie and I can get a game in. We also are thinking of having new terrain for that game, not just new philosophies, but new terrain. So I do have a new demon miniature that I will be, well, he's not a miniature because it's actually quite big, and he's gonna be painted. He's gonna be my lord for the philosophy that I'm gonna choose. I think I'm gonna choose Lords of Hell this time. Julia likes to play the Demented. For those of you that know Reign in Hell, you'll know. But so that's coming Friday. So 2 games this week as far as we know. And then whatever other updates or little things that I have in between to bring to the channel as well. You know, that's going to happen this week. But those 2 games are probably going to take a good part of my studio work, because I do have to make some terrain for Reign in Hell. There's some new stuff that I'm planning, so you'll see that in the game on Friday. Okay, and of course I'll have a video on any scratch builds or how I make some of the terrain or whatever after the fact. Okay, so so that's Reign in Hell. Deep Wars. The Deep Wars game that we have, if you guys haven't seen it, even if you're not into Deep Wars as a game, check it out. We just had our Deep Wars cavern game, and it was submersibles. Julie and I were experimenting with the submersible rules, and that you can find in the Blood Reef expansion of Deep Wars. We loved it. I had so much fun with that game. And it's interesting. It's very different. It has a very different feel to it when you add the submersibles. And of course, all the submersibles were scratch built. These were all proxy models. But we had so much fun with that game. We will be having more submersibles built for those of you that are interested. I'm going to be working on a few more proxies, some more submersibles that I have in my mind that I'm trying to get out into the planning stage, and then I'm going to have some scratch builds, new stuff coming. Okay, and I do have a new project for Deep Wars. I'm not going to say too much about it yet. Okay, it's a whole new environment to play in, and I think that even you guys, even those of you that may not necessarily be so interested in the game, but you might like it anyway because of the environment, the terrain that we're going to use for this new project. Okay, when I have a better idea of how I'm going to go about building this new terrain, this new table, and that's what I'm going to call it, then I will announce, and I will definitely tell you guys, and I'll have videos, and you know, you can see the project step by step the way I usually do. Okay, and then hopefully play some games in it. But I'm not gonna just want to tell you guys that there is a new project coming. Okay. All right. So Deep Wars sculptures. There's a couple of deep sea sculptures that I want to plan, and again, this is for Deep Wars, but there's also a couple of other sculptures that I'm planning that don't have to do with Deep Wars. Hopefully I will announce that next week. There's a diver figure that I want to do, and there's a deep sea creature that I want to do that I'm going to need for the games. And then there's another figure that has nothing to do with Deep Wars. There's a whole other fantasy figure that I'm going to announce next week as well. These are sculptures, and they would probably be back to back. I would be working with green stuff and a whole mixture of clays. So when I'm ready to actually work on the sculptures, I will announce them, and you guys will see the videos as they come out. Okay, it's probably going to be a slow process because sculpting, it's a slow process. I can usually get a miniature sculpture done in about a week if I work at it working a few hours a day, for that week. So we're talking maybe 15-20 hours of work for the sculpture, depending on the sculpture. So we'll see. I'm going to announce it probably next week. I'll have a better idea of the armature and everything that I'm going to use for that. So for those of you interested in sculpting and that sort of thing, look out next week. Okay, that's coming probably Monday of next week. Okay. So that covers Deep Wars, the Cavern project. This is something that Julie and I have been planning for quite some time now. I finally have all the terrain. I just need to paint some miniatures. We're thinking about starting our underground battles probably October sometime, because I want to make sure I have all the miniatures that we need and all the terrain that we need. There are 2 rule sets that I'm aiming for these underground battles. One is 1-page rules, Age of Fantasy, because they're easy, okay? And I can definitely work in Dark Elves, right? They have Dark Elves already and everything else. And then there's 5 Leagues from the Borderland from one of my favorite authors, Ivan Sorensen. And that game is actually getting a 3rd edition. That's a bit of news. I don't know when that is. I don't have, any information on that, but it's definitely coming from what I understand. So I would use the 2nd edition rules from 5 Leagues from the Borderland and just work it into the whole cavern setting. Okay, so you may see a couple of videos before we actually start the games, just to give a little background on what our idea of the Underdark, or can't really call it the Underdark, but the Underworld, or whatever it is, it's gonna be our idea of that, or a background or something, some kind of narrative video that'll talk a little bit about our vision of the Dark Elves, the Deep Dwarves, and whatever other races we decide to throw in there. So I'm thinking about mid-October when we actually start the games themselves. And it'll be probably a short series. And we'll see how it goes. And if it's something we really enjoy and something that our viewers really enjoy, then we can actually add to it later on, and expand it. Okay, so that's the cavern underground battles that we've been talking about for forever. Okay, and that's kind of the time frame that I'm thinking about, depending on what's going on in the studio. I will definitely update the channel on that, in case there are people interested in coming over and watching those games. Okay, these are going to be mostly homebrew games. The setting, at least, the theme. Okay, so that's that. That's coming in October. And then we have the MJ Hobby Talk, which is it's a chat that Julie and I used to do every other Sunday. And those of you guys that have been following the channel for a long time, you know that Julie and I used to get together every other Sunday and we just chat with you guys. Just very informal. And we had a lot of fun doing it. We also did all of our unboxings during this video. And we want to bring that back. Okay, so bringing that back hopefully soon. Julie and I kind of have to get together and just talk about how we're going to do it this time. But I think it's going to be a fall and winter thing, and it's going to be every other week, and it's basically like a little news update. It just updates the channel, and we also show a lot of the projects that maybe I started at some point, and we show the finished projects and all that stuff. So it was an important way of us updating the channel, and we had a lot of fun doing it. So that's coming soon. I don't know exactly when we're gonna start it, but it'll come very soon. Julie and I, it'll be the MJ Hobby Talk. It'll be Julie and myself. So, and any guest speakers that we decide to have or whatever, they'll come on board. All right, so that's that. And then Oathmark. Oathmark. So what's going on with Oathmark? Well, we took a break from Oathmark. I know we've been doing a lot of other things, but we do have a game. Julie and I have been talking about doing an Oathmark game and starting it up again. You know, maybe do like a short campaign for Oathmark again, like one of the pick one of the military expeditions in one of the books, and then just follow through and do, you know, 3 or 4 games, 1 game a week, whatever, and just do the whole military expedition. I do want to experiment more with river battles in Oathmark, and I've made quite a few boats for Oathmark. So I'm hoping that we can start that again real soon. And we're thinking again, probably in October. I mean, September is almost done. So time is just flying. So we're thinking October we'll bring back some Oathmark. And I know we have some Oathmark followers here on the channel. So hopefully we'll do some Oathmark again. Maybe bring some new kingdoms, some new armies, you know, and have fun, because that's a great game. Oathmark is a great game. So, all right, so that's all I want to update on. I think it's long enough of an update, and I hope you guys have a very good evening, and we'll talk very soon. And remember, Infinite Dark, Horizon Wars, and then Reign in Hell. You can watch Julie and I battle each other once again. Have a good one, guys. We'll talk very soon.